so hilarious.
Your faith. My faith in your profession.
Exactly, right.
My faith in your profession.
Hey, Rudy,
yeah.
whenever you're ready to roll, if you want to just kick it off the conversation and then
Let's do it.
get started.
Oh, I'm ready.
We're ramped up. Hi, Larry.
Hey, Rudy. We're here in Tribeca.
In Tribeca.
Yeah.
And we had an amazing hour to have a conversation that I've been really wanting to have for a long time.
You know what? I don't take it for granted. I even got nervous this morning because I thought I'd be late. And I was, and I started to get kind of hyperventilate. And I went, what do you teach your students? I say, breathe, feel your feet on the floor.
Feel grounded.
Be grounded, be
Yep.
present, and stop the bullshit with, what if I, So I took a deep breath, and every second is precious.
Mm.
When you get up to my age, and I'm 102 now, you don't believe me?
Gosh.
Okay, I'm not 102, but not that far away. You start to get it. I mean, really get that our work is about the preciousness of moments.
Mm.
That all we have in our life is this moment right now. So everybody's thinking about, well, what's going to happen when that happens? And what if she does this? And what if he does that? And what if I do that? And you go, this is a quote I just got.
I'm ready.
All fear is a figment of your imagination, of something that did happen, which is the past, which is gone, or something that could happen, but you have no idea about.
Anxiety.
So when you get into fear, it's imagination.
Yeah.
And that just blew my mind.
Yeah, because you're running with the possibilities of what could happen poorly, and then you kind of manifest that direction. But if you let go and you don't want to control, and something you've taught me is when you let go of that fear, you start exploring.
And that's where the acting is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not real. It's like the great Bobby Lewis, great director and teacher, and started the group theater.
Yep.
Robert Lewis said, you think Hamlet's real? But if you believe it, if you work his life, then to be or not to be has never been said before. And it's funny, Rudy, to talk about language.
Yeah.
Because my big joke now, I mean, nobody will laugh, but it's my joke.
I'm ready.
Which is how a lot of young people are talking right now.
This is one of my questions, Larry.
Oh my God. Okay, so this is it. Hey, Rudy, how you doing, man? It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too,
Listen,
Larry.
Thanks, pal. Thank you. I'm going to go downstairs and get a corner.
Okay, yeah, no, I was about to go upstairs too.
Yeah, I'm going to go downstairs and get a corner.
Bye.
What, you don't understand what I'm saying?
No, I already heard you. What was that?
Well, what I was saying is I'm going to go downstairs and get a corner. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so you didn't get it. All right, so God, Jesus Christ. All right. I'm going to, hey, Rudy, how are you? Good to see you. I'm going downstairs to get a quart of milk. So then you say, well, why can't you just say that? Well, I don't want to be acty. So I go, you mean if I understand it, it's phony?
Is that what's hurting writing today? Is that something that we're missing? Is there writers today that excite you, that are like,
Yes.
that's writing not that's not writing quick?
There is a play called The Sound Inside by a wonderful writer called Adam Rapp. And I went to see that play,
I'm gonna write that down.
and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was so out of this world. It was just a couple of years ago. There are writers writing right now that are stupendous,
No, I believe it. I believe it.
but we have to read them.
And how do we do that? Like, how do we get attention to that? Because I feel, and I don't know if you feel this way, the traction. And I mean, like, in your class, you use plays from Patrick Shanley, Eugene O'Neill, writers from over 50 years ago. How do we give traction to the writers today?
You know, I feel like yelling right now.
Uh-oh.
By that I mean, when I was about 14, I went to the library. There was no computers. And somebody had mentioned a play called Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller.
Mm-hmm.
And I read that play. I was in the library. I was by myself. I started to weep. I started to cry. I went, that's America. If you're not successful in America, it's like you took a shit in your pants and everybody can smell it.
Mm.
Success is identity, and it's not. And that's what Willy Loman's tragedy is.
Yeah.
And what he does to his sons. Be a success. You don't need an education. Just smile, get the girls to like you, get the guys to respect you, tell a joke, look good. Don't go and get an education. So both guys are lost.
Mm-hmm.
They hardly have names. Biff, which is not a name. Happy, which is a state of being.
Mm-hmm.
And the last moments of the play, after Willie kills himself for the insurance money to give to his sons, his wife Linda's at the grave with his sons, and his young son, Happy, they call him Hap, not even a full name.
Yeah, just Hap.
He's not a full person,
Mm-hmm.
says, Dad was right, I'm going to be more successful. And Biff says, the man didn't know who he was, Hap. I'm going to find out who I am. And I just went, oh my God. Oh my God. That's my dad. My dad said, if I can't go first class, I don't want to go. And I thought, who cares? Just go. But it was the Depression where everybody lost their money. It's all fear.
Yeah.
And fear of helplessness.
Yeah.
That's where evil comes from, is the fear of death. And so we try to do things to make us triumph over nature.
Yeah. Sometimes.
How rich can I be? How good can I look? How much power do I have? And you go, have you read the paper?
Mm-hmm.
Kids, young,
Right now.
single digits, are killing each other.
What can we do? Like I think that's 100% why I want to have this conversation, when we're living in a time where presentation feels more important. And your class, and a lot of other classes, but finding what and experiencing what the plays that you assign reminds us it's not about that. We're all human, and you gotta remember that. But I think I'm really scared, and a fear of mine right now is that the teachings get lost in translation with what can I better do than someone else. And I hate that. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. So I'm kind of trying to like remind myself, as well as remind so many others, that this is not why we're doing this. Is what we're doing here is reminding how human we are experiencing things, and I want that to be written. And a question I want to ask is, if those legendary writers were alive today, what would they write about today?
Well, they wouldn't, because when you look at Tennessee Williams, which brings me up to recommending a book to whoever watches this and
Yeah.
to you,
I know the book he's going to say. Yeah.
which is John Lahr's amazing biography
on Tennessee, yeah.
Mad Pilgrimage of the Flesh. And he took 12 years, Rudy, to write that book. And it is the most outrageously specific story of a man who is an artist who left us greatness. That is John Lahr, a gifted man on his own, took 12 years to write about Tennessee Williams. He writes about every single play he wrote, when he wrote it, why he wrote it, what happened to him in his childhood, all the way through his death.
Okay.
And you read it page by page and you go, that's why he's so great.
Okay.
His passion to write, his volcano. You know what Michael Chekhov said? I don't know if you ever heard this, Rudy.
No, this might not be.
A good actor is a relaxed body with a volcano in it.
Okay.
And that's the haiku of where I hope everyone who's acting right now understands. Without breathing, without feeling your feet on the floor, without relaxing muscles, you're going to act from here.
Yep.
And the minute you act from there, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's about allowing what is already there. So when I saw James Dean in East of Eden, and you know what's wild? No matter who I talk to, whether it's somebody your age, younger than you, after they watch East of Eden, they go, how did he do that?
Mm.
From the moment that movie starts, and he's on a train, on the top of a train, going home in a sweater, and it's freezing out, and he's on top of this train, and he's trying to warm himself up, because he's the most unloved young man in the world. It's a metaphor. And if you watch, which everybody should, on the waterfront, that's right. When Marlon Brando enters that movie, he's a longshoreman, he's got a big jacket on, he's macho. But right before they say his name as he goes to work as a longshoreman, he goes, he puts his hand over his heart, and you go, that's the psychological gesture of the entire story, a man who has to find his heart. It's been broken and lost by his brother. Watch the brilliant scene with Rod Steiger. I could have had class, Charlie. I could have been somebody. You shouldn't have made me lose that fight, because I'm a bum now.
Mm.
You should have looked after me, Charlie, just a little bit. That's the worst impersonation of Marlon Brando that has ever been done.
That's not bad. I saw it. I felt it.
But the greatness. And then you watch Brendan Fraser in The Whale.
Well, I was going to ask you the question today, what are we telling stories of what Brando did? And
you watch, I mean, Jessica Chastain is on Broadway right now doing Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House. On Broadway right now. She's a movie star. She came to Broadway to do the most famous play about feminism ever written. It was the beginning of feminism in the 1800s, A Doll's House, on Broadway right now. I will say it to every single person. You can hear a good performance, no matter how underplayed it is, because they send the idea and they finish the idea. They don't let it evaporate into non-speech.
Yeah.
It's like saying this, as we were talking about Hamlet, it's like, imagine.
Yeah, I know exactly
to
what
be
you're
or
talking
not
about.
to be, that's good. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer things and errors of outrageous fortune, to take arms against the sea of trouble by opposing in them, to die, to sleep no more. Well, that's very real. That's very casual. Get out.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to make an impact.
No.
It's not going to change anything.
And you hear good performances, they may be very subtle, and I mean as if they're almost doing nothing, but that volcano is in there, and they're sending the idea to a person for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at all of the actors that we admire, and they have real technique. And this is the thing that I'm most concerned about,
Yes.
is that people are not working every day.
Okay.
You get up every day, you warm up your voice, you breathe, you do a page of just thoughts, free association, The Artist's Way, that book, The Artist's Way. It's 3 pages. You just get up in the morning and say, oh, I had a hard time sleeping last night. I hate my room. I love her. I don't want to write anything. I just feel like, oh, God, my neck hurts me, and I don't want to go to work today, and I can't wait to see her tonight, and I don't want to write this, and God damn it, but I'll read because I got to do the whole page. You write it all. And suddenly, every day, you're writing down this free association of your internal world.
Mm.
Then you warm up, you stretch, you breathe, you do meditation, you warm up the voice, lowest tone to the highest. So you don't have to get into that voice, that monotone that people get into. Yeah, and then you have to do enunciation. I do this in my class all the time. I drive people crazy.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do. And I hope I've driven you crazy. I think I have.
I think you have.
Okay, so this is the exercise, and I love this exercise. Okay? Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
Oh, this one. Peter Piper picked a peck of pepper pick.
I love it.
We're going to go again.
Okay, listen. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
Now explode the P's.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
Well, if Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers,
Well, if Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers,
what the fuck kind of peppers did Peter Piper pick?
I don't know what kind of fucking pickled peppers Peter Piper picked.
Yes. Now, that's right. You suddenly go, language is emotion. I want to remind everybody that there was a time in history when words didn't exist. There was just, oh, 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 oh.
Primal.
And somebody said, no, no, no. And no was born. And love was born. And fear. Someone in the history of this world created language because of what they were feeling. It's not dead. It's alive with desire. That's, even if you're as quiet as a mouse.
Mm.
And when you work on great writing, it does something I was saying in class last week. Minimum, read a play a week.
Yeah.
If you read a play a week at the end of the year, you've read 50 plays, and all those writers are in your head. So I said I wasn't going to mention these writers.
Here we are.
But I am, and everybody who's watching this could say, what a bore, and I go, I don't care. Because do you all know who these writers are?
Amen. No, that's why we're here.
Okay. Martina Majok
Okay.
wrote this amazing play, Ironweed. She's from Poland.
I feel like I might have saw that one in your class.
No, it's not Ironweed, Larry. It's Ironbound.
It's all good?
Ironbound, yeah. Ironweed was with Meryl Streep and Jack Nicholson.
Mm.
Simon Steffens, British writer. August Wilson. If you read the Pittsburgh Cycle by August Wilson, you and every other human being in the world will understand the black experience in our world like you've never understood it before. August Wilson is the first black writer to have a theater named after him. And because of August Wilson is such a genius, The Piano Lesson, if you ever saw Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Fences that Denzel Washington and Viola Davis did on Broadway and in film. It's all in that 10-play cycle. The Pittsburgh Cycle by August Wilson. Magnificent. Now there's a theater named after him. Now there's a theater named one of the greatest actors I've ever seen, James Earl Jones, and one of the greatest singers I've ever seen, Lena Horne. Black artists who now have theaters named after them. And that makes me pissed off, and it makes me sad, because we had to wait so long to honor a human being that was so gifted. So August Wilson, everybody, wonderful woman Paula Vogel, Sarah Rule, Stephen Adly Gurgis, the motherfucker with a hat, right? And Between Riverside and Crazy, which won the Pulitzer Prize. Amazing. Stephen Adly Gurgis. This guy Shakespeare is really good, and
not bad.
And Anton Chekhov is a really good up-and-comer, and August Strindberg. See, a lot of people haven't read Miss Julie. Miss Julie is a one-act play by August Strindberg that changed the course of theater forever. People go, I don't know those plays, and that's old-fashioned. I go, you know what? Shut up. Get the play, read it, and then take a deep breath, because you'll go, oh my God, I can't believe they wrote that in the 18th century. It's like right the frig now.
Right, and you're saying read all those right now.
Yes,
right
Strindberg, another wonderful black author, Lynn Nottage, Arthur Miller, Harold Pinter, Martin McDonough, Donald Margulies, Duncan Macmillan, George Bernard Shaw, William Inge, Adam Rapp, Tennessee Williams, Lanford Wilson, Henrik Ibsen, Clifford Odets, David Harrower, Edmund Rostand, early David Mamet, David Auburn. Imagine if you read all those people, what you would know and what you would feel. I read a wonderful play by Brian Friel, an Irish wonderful author that I read at home. And that was 30 years ago. I can't remember the name of it, but Brian Friel, you can look him up.
Yeah.
I remember one of the most beautiful moments in my life is I was alone in my apartment. I was reading this play, and I started sobbing. Just me, the play, and my room.
Yep.
And that's what literature can do if you take the time.
Right, that's why I fell in love with it, because I felt it when I was reading it. And I'm wondering, these people that you put on that list, do we have hope for people after them and after them? Or is there something that these people in particular have found out and connected to? And what I want to know is, like, are we heading in a safe direction?
Rudy, you know what? It's a great question. Yes, there is a generation of young people, and I'm talking about single digits as well as teens, that are brilliant. There are young people out there today that are getting tired of selfies. They're getting tired of the, games and the
presentation.
Well, and talking about TikTok and talking about, the social network, and go, how do I look? And, you read the paper and it goes, 4 people killed in shooting drive-by, and right next to them is a photo of a naked person. And the hottest person this week is, how can you put the murder of 4 innocent people
next to that?
Next to that. Because that's where we are. Violence and sex, adrenaline. Get people to feel adrenalized, and they will pay money, and they will be under my power. Let's go and see another movie where 50 people are murdered. It's awful, and that's what's happening, but there are people that are beginning to write about that.
Yeah.
And that's where your generation can help the world heal. Because guess what? Great writers and great actors help us remember our humanity. And if you forget your humanity and you get casual and unemotional and me, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Say that about 20 times. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Courage to change the things I can. And the wisdom to know the difference. I couldn't change my mother's mental illness. I couldn't change my father's narcissism and the trauma he suffered as a burn victim. And I couldn't change the violence and the terror I felt as a child. But they also, in their way, tried to love me. And I went, how do I cope with all the abuse and the love? Because that's humanity.
Is that why potentially you wanted to act and
That
teach?
is why I wanted to act when I saw the beauty of people being close to each other. We want to be close to each other, but we also want to be close to ourselves. That's what AA teaches. That's what good therapists teach. That's what good writers teach. So are there people coming up in the world right now who are genius and brilliant? Yes. And they're going to write about COVID, and they're going to write about violence with young people, and people are going to sit in the theater and they're going to cry and they're going to laugh and they're going to go, yeah, that's right, that's the truth, there's the truth. And then people get up in the theater and they roar or they yell out. People are starving for contact.
Do you think we're losing connection with that because there's so much right now? There's so much content, there's so much streaming, there's so much ways to present something in front of
Read
people.
alone a book.
Yes, sir.
Be with yourself. Read John Steinbeck, Leo Tolstoy. Just start there. Dostoevsky, William Faulkner. You start to read. So you say, I read a play a week, and I'll be in the middle of a great novel or a great piece of biography. But I will not stop educating myself. I will not stop learning till the day I die. And when people say, Rudy, I'm bored,
Yep.
I go, that's so sad. There was a young woman in my class, beautiful, talented. She brought a scene from a Neil Simon play called I Ought to Be in Pictures. And the young woman had a Brooklyn accent. She came to the class. She did the scene, no accent. I said to her, okay, you're onto something, but why didn't you use the accent? And she said, there's no accent. So I got the play out, and I said, a friend says to you, I can't understand you because of your accent. She got embarrassed. I said, I'm not trying to embarrass you. The part is valid because of the accent. And she looked at me with the most amazing look. She said, you know what, Larry? I don't want to work that hard. I said, that makes me so sad. Work with passion and get good at something that you enjoy. And I was listening to a very fine actor, a young actor, I think his name is Andrew Burnap, and he won the Tony Award, and he's in Camelot on Broadway right now. And he says, they said, how do you feel being so young and winning the Tony Award on Broadway? He said, I'm overwhelmed I'm so excited, but, and please don't take this the wrong way, it's the work I love. Going to the theater every night and saying, what's going to happen tonight? And reading the lines and singing the songs.
This might be a dangerous question. If we recorded, or do you believe that if the theater was recorded, that would help remind people the importance to going and reading?
The theater is recorded. There's a thing called the National Theatre at Home of all these plays in London. Shakespeare, Pinter, Duncan Macmillan, all of these plays, they're online.
Yeah, we need to know that.
I know you didn't know it, and that's what I'm telling you and everybody else. The National Theatre at Home. I just watched Between Riverside and Crazy was being streamed.
I've taken your class so many times. I'm like just learning this.
I'm sorry, enunciate.
I've taken your class so many times, and I'm just learning they've been recorded. That's insane. That's amazing. That I gotta go. I'm going home right now.
That's right, you are. Everything that you need is online. But that people aren't looking up, they're looking at what people are wearing.
Yes, it's on the streamers, it's on wherever you can get it in an instant. But like
we don't have any say, I'm sorry to interrupt you, we don't have any say about how we look.
What do you mean?
We don't have any say. Our parents had sex, they had genetics, we were born.
Yeah.
And then we go, oh, you have a nice nose. Oh, you have an ugly face. What? You have a you're a skag. You're a pansy. You look stupid. You're stupid. You go away. I look like I look, but I feel and think how I want. Who am I? And it isn't this nose or this mouth or these eyes or no hair, which I lost at 20. And boy, was I angry. But that's my genetics.
Yeah. And then you took all those insecurities. How did you turn that into a fire? How did you turn that into, oh, I have something to say, the volcano? How did you turn it into the volcano?
I don't know that I had anything to say, Rudy. I just had to say something. And it was the writers that gave me the chance. I was in the first revival of West Side Story in New York here. And I worked with the great Jerome Robbins, who choreographed West Side Story and directed it. And I was 20 years old. And he said to us, when you do the Somewhere Ballet and you kick your heels into the ground, it's a fantasy that city kids are having about being in the country where they've never been in nature. And they're imagining kicking their heel into the earth. And when you bring your leg around, you're smelling the earth for the first time. He gave us imagery for every step. An opening night in New York of the revival of West Side Story, we stopped the show for 2 minutes. I thought, I'm not just doing a step. And Jerome Robbins was a tough guy. He said, you look like a bunch of kids on 42nd Street. What the hell do you think this goddamn ballet is about? It's about city kids who have nothing, who long to be safe in the beauty of nature. So kick that earth and smell it, or get out of my theater. 20.
How'd that make you feel?
I'm sorry, Mr. Robbins. I'll do it. And then a lot of the guys that I was in that show with were killed in Vietnam. And I went, it's so unfair. It's so unfair, that war. But I didn't go. And I can't use the language that I used when they tried to put me in the army. But I was something in me, this is us, said, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die. I'm 22 years old. I just got my first important show. I just got married 2 years ago. I am not going to die. So take your war and go fuck yourself. And then this guy said to me, you're going in the Army, man. You're an actor, right? Well, I'm telling you something. I see that you're acting right now and you're going in the Army. And I looked at him and I said, don't bet on it, pal. Because it was an immoral war.
Yeah.
And thousands of young people died for nothing. So you have a lot to say about that. They're just killing people. They're just killing people. And then we watch television and they're killing people and they're killing, and we go to the movies. We go, oh, good. And what do they say in Variety? The movie bombed. The movie was massacred. We killed them. All this violence of power. What about kindness? What about learning? What about love? What about friendship? I have a friend of mine, he's my best friend, and we've been friends for 50 years. And it's the funniest, most wonderful friendship. We talk every day and we do accents. We pretend we're other people and then we start laughing.
That's what I do at my place, so it makes me happy.
You do that too?
I do that too.
like how do you do it?
Oh, you know, you're up in the white north, you know, you just gotta come down here and just have a good time, you know. That's where we're at. What about you, man?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you were saying. May I ask a question?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
All right. Why? I won't do this one. I'm embarrassing myself again. Why is getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning like a pig's tail?
Ooh, you know, I'm gonna go southern with it. I don't know why it's a pig's tail, sir.
No, why is getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning like a pig's tail? Repeat it.
Why is it waking up in the morning like a pig's tail? And 6 o'clock in the morning.
Getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning is like a pig's tail.
Why is that so?
Well, because it's twirly.
That was me this morning, sir.
It's so stupid. The pig's tail is twirly and it's too early. It's twirly. And I go, I'm so stupid.
I'm so stupid too.
I'm so stupid. But it's fun.
Yep.
Language is fun.
Okay. Language today. How has it changed? And I think a reason these writers, you've made that list, do you think the language they wrote in all these plays is different than the language we use today?
Well, of course, as it was in the way that people spoke in Shakespeare's time, when Chekhov wrote, when Molière wrote in French. I mean,
do you think that's doing something to today's writing? Is that they don't write like this anymore?
They write like today.
Right, like
and
today.
You know what? Some of the writing is brilliant. There's new language. There's new ideas.
Okay.
The world has never been in more danger than it is right now.
Okay, that was one of my questions.
Well, let me please answer. I want to answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
Our young people are scared.
Mm-hmm.
Art is a way to heal. Art is a way to share. Art is a way to contact and to make another choice than hurting someone. We have to stop hurting ourselves and hurting each other for power, for kicks, for adrenaline. People are writing about that. You write about the times you live in. There's going to be some amazing, and you're emotional right now, Rudy. What are you emotional about? If your tears could speak, what would you say?
Yeah, that is true, that it is scary, you know, because you want... God damn it, Larry.
See me. Right there, Rudy. Right there. You're a talented actor. You're successful. You have worked. You have your whole life ahead of you. You can do whatever you want.
I just don't... I don't feel like it because I don't feel like the work that we're going towards is what's on that piece of paper.
Then write something. Get together with other actors and actresses. Do improvisations. Write a play. Make a movie. Don't be passive. Don't be a victim. Get out and do something.
Yeah. I'm trying.
I know you're trying, but you know, as someone said to me, when you say you'll try, you mean you won't. It's not about trying. Huh?
You got me.
Caught ya. It's doing it. When I did my play, the Syringa tree about South Africa, that came out of my class, I worked on it for 4 years. It was the happiest 4 years of my life, working with this great actress, Pamela Geen, who wrote it about her life in South Africa as a white woman during apartheid. It came out of our hearts. 4 years. We took it all over the world. We are capable of such unbelievable things, but we don't do it.
Yeah.
Well, what if I fail?
Fuck it.
Samuel Beckett, another great writer, his saying, I have it on my wall. Never mind, try again, fail better.
Mm-hmm.
You do it. You put it out there. That's what wonderful John Lahr wrote in Mad Pilgrimage of the Flesh about Tennessee Williams. When Eugene O'Neill wrote Long Day's Journey into Night, one of the greatest, if not the greatest play about family dysfunction and immigrants, in the beginning of the play, it says, written in blood and tears by Eugene O'Neill. Written in blood and tears by Eugene O'Neill.
When I was on the plane, I read 4 Dogs and a Bone.
John Patrick Shanley, God bless him.
I feel like when I picked it, because I feel like that's a lot of what's going on now.
Yeah, and you can play the writer.
Yeah, Victor.
Yeah, play Victor. There's great scenes in there.
I feel like people should read it, but I feel like we all are unlicked cubs right now.
Say that again.
We feel like unlicked cubs, and that's a line from 4 Dogs and a Bone.
Unlit cubs. Well, guess what? You're not. You are giving something in the part you play on Outer Banks. You earned that. All those talented actors and actresses are doing it. There's enormous talent that I've been watching internationally from every country. There is so much talent, writing talent, acting talent, cinematographers, and editors. I mean, it is not negative. People want to create now more than ever because there's so much we want to say.
Yeah.
And it has to start with you. So you get with somebody, and you work on a scene every day, and you write your morning pages, and you meet with a group every week, and you read a play, and then you produce a play.
There's so much.
I did it. I practiced what I preach, and I still do. So.
Oh, I love you.
Well, I love you back because you have intelligence, sensitivity, you are honest, you have great passion, and you want to grow, Rudy. That's why we're sitting here.
So many people have something to say.
Everyone has something to say.
Now, some stories isn't yours to say right now, and it's for someone else too. Do you think there's turns? Do you think there's waves of where this is this time? Do you feel that is something, or does everyone, if they're inspired to say something, they should write that?
If you're inspired to say something, say it. Dance it, sing it, make a building, take care of an animal.
You never told me that one before. Take care of an animal.
Well, animals are dependent.
Yeah.
It's like you look at the Banshees of Inisherin, and which are wonderful, the donkey.
And the horse. And the
See,
cow.
they're making movies right now, and it's all the same thing. It always has been. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Why destroy things? A tree grows, a flower grows, an animal grows. They die.
Yeah.
Some last for hundreds of years. But we should all grow to get old. I look now and I go, I've been fortunate, I'm still alive. I don't have a lot of time, and I know that, and I don't like it. Dylan Thomas, rage, rage against the dying of the light. But I'm talking to you. You're the next generation, and we're friends, and you're my student, and you're out there, and you're going to take it on. That's why you wanted to do this interview. I don't think anybody needs to hear me mouth off. Who cares? But
I do, but yeah.
I appreciate that. And if I have reached anybody, then it was worth it, because it's not about me.
No, it's not about me either.
No, it's about what we can give, not take. What we can give to each other, to the world. And you watch Mexican films, as I said, and Indian films, and German films, and British films, and Chinese and Korean. I mean,
Yeah.
it's everywhere. Talent is everywhere. The movie Drive My Car.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, people can say it's 3 hours long and people hardly talk. I go, watch the movie and shut up. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. People say, I hate that movie, it's stupid. You go, wait till at the end. I mean, my God, it's possible, but not without dedication, commitment, consistency, and discipline. Monologues every day. You
Yep.
do a monologue or two or three, and then you change off every 3 months and learn more. What are you feeling right now? You just thought something.
There's so much talent, there's so much hope to find. And I think that's what another reason I wanted to talk to you is, even though I feel like we're going in a direction that I hope we're not, there's so much talent to keep looking for and to get inspired by. And I think that's and what you're telling is just, it's refreshing, and I just took it in to a level where it's just like, yeah, maybe here, right now, you're a little lost, but you can find so much talent around the world, so much things to inspire you by, and I was talking.
And you and I are
yesterday.
here, and these wonderful guys here who are helping us
Yeah.
are here,
Yeah.
and the cameras are here, right? Yeah.
Everyone,
I mean,
everyone. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this.
yes. So there's hope everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you go to the set every day
Mm-hmm.
and work,
Yeah.
what do you feel?
Responsibility. Responsibility is
And what
on
else?
mine. Opportunity to feel alive, to live it and explore and
And feel and move and
Yeah.
talk to people and have a director and have other actors and actresses with you
yeah,
for hours and hours and hours creating a story.
yeah. Let's create a story.
Create a story. Tell a story. How did theater start? A bunch of cavemen and women sitting around, you know, eating a dead moose, going, you know what happened today with this moose? No, this moose bit me. Look at my arm. The moose bit you? Yeah.
Then you killed it?
What?
Then you killed it?
Well, we had to eat.
Well, that's true.
And then someone says, I'm going to write a story about a moose that bites. I mean, how did all this start? I mean, it's a stupid story, but I made it
I
up.
don't know. I think a moose that had a carnivorous moose would be terrifying. That's a horror film idea, right
The
there.
moose bites.
Thank you, Larry.
Oh, God. I hope I didn't overtalk. I just get so excited, and you're so open, Rudy. you're so open and so loving and so present.
I want to ask one last thing. If you could go back to ask Stella Adler one question, what would you ask her?
I would tell her, it's in my book, a lovely woman gave a dinner party for me to meet Stella.
Mm-hmm.
And she talked to us, it was all famous people except me, and she talked about Ibsen and Strindberg and Chekhov. We just all ate dinner and listened to Stella. It was like her class. The dinner party was like her class.
I love that dinner party so much.
It was the best. And at one point, as I said in the book, she looked at me and she said, "And who are you, young man?" She had a very theatrical way. "And who are you?" I said, "Well, I'm Larry, and I was in your class for 3 years in your script analysis class. And I hope to carry on some of the legacy that I'm so grateful that I learned from you about writers." She grabbed my hand, Rudy, and she started to cry.
Yeah.
And she said, "Larry, please don't let it die."
God.
And I would say to her, "Thank you for teaching me to respect great writers and giving me the life that you gave me." And the last thing I'll say is the social economic level of a character.
Mm.
When we studied Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw,
Okay.
she said, "You all laugh in My Fair Lady," which is the musical version of Pygmalion. And when they're going to give Eliza Doolittle a bath, she starts doing those funny guttural sounds that you all think are funny, which is, "Oh, ow, ow." She said, "It's not funny." That class of woman, that class of person financially had no hot water. So they thought she was going to be put in ice cold water. And that is terror, stark terror of poverty. And when she sees the other bathtub that is steaming, she thinks she's going to be scalded to death. It's about poverty. So it's not so easy to laugh. And I just started to get emotional. I went, why has nobody ever talked to me about the upbringing of social economic class?
Yep.
Low class, poverty, middle class, lower middle class, upper middle class, upper class, upper class. It's all over the writing, but it's all inside of our guts. We had this much money. There isn't a person listening to this or a person anywhere in this world that doesn't know how much money they have in the bank. So social economic class of a character and what that meant to them.
Yep. 3 things that you want students, directors, coaches.
What was the last one?
Coaches, other coaches.
Coaches, yes.
To always remember, and from your teachings, if there's certain things that you want to always remember, what would those things be? And to walk away from your class with. Writer's always right. I have my own ideas of what you're going to say, but I want you to say it.
Passion, kindness, gratitude, discipline, and a full knowledge that we are here to serve, not to gain power, and not to be better than anybody else.
Thank you for that.
Because there's no one like us in the universe. There's only one you, one me. And we have one thing that no one else has, and that's us. And when you make the most of it, that goes into the world.
Yeah.
And I thank Stella Adler for that.
I think you did it.
I hope I did.
You did.
Thanks, pal.
Thank you.